we will work with you so that you will wind up with capital to go into your next ventures.
What mechanisms or tools are we going to use?
Assignments, mortgages, security interests.
Like UCCs?
Yes, like UCCs and mortgages. One might consider this in the nature of a composition agreement where you've got your friendly creditors working with you against your hostile creditor.
Right. So a billionaire comes in, he's like, I don't want to go bankrupt. Is this the alternative?
This is an alternative.
Good afternoon, everybody. We're back with Confronting the Impossible. And I'm here with our senior counsel, Mr. Confidant, the statesman, the original wartime general, Wayne Greenwald. And the reason I say that, is because Wayne is a Churchill fan, okay? I think it's valuable to say.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to begin from Churchill because Churchill said, the price of greatness is responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the theme of today is to talk about the guarantor's responsibility to the borrower, to the asset, to his investors, to her investors, and to their equity investors. And I want to talk about a specific motif, the personal poison pill, what Wayne would call it, the creditor asset protection vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
So, Wayne, first and foremost, introduce yourself, what you do at the firm.
I'm senior counsel to the firm. I do work in the Bankruptcy and Creditors Rights Department, and I'm also going to use a different Churchill quote, if I may, because it's some of what we are involved in. We are involved in preserving the entrepreneur because we may not be able to save the investment. We may not be able to save the enterprise, but we want to make sure that the entrepreneur can go on.
And that's important.
As Churchill would say, success is the ability to go from one failure to the
another
next without losing enthusiasm.
And enthusiasm is sometimes what we sell.
Yes.
Because our clients call us back all the time. Leo, I want to give up. Leo, I haven't figured it out. Please help me. I need to continue.
And I will say, our bankruptcy group, we're very enthusiastic. We're
We
very
are.
enthusiastic about our work.
So let's
All
talk
of us.
about this personal poison pill, or what you would call it, the creditor asset protection
Right.
vehicle. Tell me about that.
Basically what it is.
And give us an anecdote
an anecdote. Imagine
or an example.
you have an entrepreneur in real estate who has several projects that are going, and they're all having problems.
Let's call them $10 billion.
$10 billion of projects which are all going down the tubes.
Right.
And they have guarantees, and they also have liens on the property. They anticipate that the holder of the guarantee is going to turn on the guarantor to say, my collateral is insufficient. I want you to cough it up. I want to take it from your assets. What we've been working on is a concept of what the guarantor will do is take his other assets, which have value, because generally these people have significant value as well. If you have somebody with $10 billion worth of deals, they probably have some value at home elsewhere. So there are going to be people who are friendly creditors, people who have worked with them, who want to keep them busy because they know they will get more business from them, more loans, more successful things. That what we are going through now is a phase in the economy, and that these people already have demonstrated success. So what they might do is to say, what we will do is we will take a lien on your other assets, and these will protect these assets from the creditor who has your guarantor.
Interesting.
Guarantee. They're protected from the creditor who has the guarantee. And we will work with you so that you will wind up with capital to go into your next ventures.
And how will that actually work? What mechanisms or tools are we going to use? Confessions, assignments, declarations. What are we going to use?
Generally, what you would wind up are assignments, mortgages, security interests.
Like UCCs.
Yes, like UCCs and mortgages. One might consider this in the nature of a composition agreement, which is a very old form of doing a workout, but this is a means where you've got your friendly creditors working with you against your hostile creditor.
Right. So a billionaire comes in, he's like, I don't want to go bankrupt. Is this the alternative?
This is an alternative.
So an alternative to bankruptcy.
Yes.
And it's on a state level or the federal level?
It's on the state level. It's based on state law, but it's enforceable in state courts and federal courts.
That's very, very interesting. So have you seen this employed at all? Or do you think the time is now?
I think the time is now. Have I seen it employed? Yes. Not on the scale that we're talking about.
Not in the billions yet.
Yes. Not, or where we're dealing with a large group of creditors of supporting the guarantor.
Let me challenge you for a second, Wayne, okay?
Just now?
Just now. Imagine that we have a client that we've done a personal poison pill.
Yep.
And they have a judgment creditor that's coming after them. So they have a $200 million credit debtor going after them, and the value of their portfolio is $1 billion. And they find other equity investors that liquidate their equity interest into debt interests in the amount of a confession of judgment that's worth $1 billion. So those $1 billion equity holders are now debt instrument holders of the borrower. Now the creditor that's still trying to get a judgment is going to fall behind them, correct?
Yes.
Correct. Good. But what if, and I'm going to bring up Charles Cohen. Charles Cohen is a prolific investor. He's the Cohen brothers, okay? He already has a $187 million judgment. And he did not liquidate his equity interests of his equity LPs and GPs. So I want to take that personal poison pill a step further. What if a Charles Cohen comes to us and says, look, Leo, I heard you on this podcast talking about a creditor that's about to get a judgment, but if you're in front of that judgment, that I could be in front of it, but I already have a judgment against me. How do I get in front of it? Now.
The answer
What's
is,
the answer?
Having a judgment is meaningless.
But I want to tell. But what I'm saying is, wouldn't you still employ the personal poison pill?
Yes, that's why I'm going.
Why?
through
Why
it.
would you still do it in spite of the judgment?
Because, as I was saying, having a judgment is meaningless. It just means you have the right to use mechanisms provided by law in New York State, the CPLR Article 52, to take assets to enforce that judgment. So with this personal poison pill, as you call it, or as I say, creditor asset protection, which is really to protect their other creditors.
Right.
What this will do is will shield those assets from the hostile creditor taking them. So
how?
How? Because you will be putting liens on them, and they will not be available for the secured creditor to enforce their judgment.
But let's assume that the $187 million judgment that Charles Cohen got, Fortress goes and attaches it on every single asset. Let's assume two yachts, 3 buildings, a chateau house in France, and 3 multifamilies. Imagine they're all there. That judgment is there. What I would say is I would still get other confessions of judgment, record them after that first judgment, which is the hostile creditor, and then do a 5240.
Possibly.
Take me through the 5240. Take me through the 5240 where we are second in line. Do you follow what I'm saying, Wayne?
I do. What you're saying
that's right.
What you're saying is that the junior secured creditor is looking to prevent the senior secured creditor from foreclosing on the asset. In reality, what you're talking about is the doctrine of marshaling. And what marshaling is a junior creditor says, hey, I'm secured by this asset. and you, senior creditor, have other assets. So before you look to my assets.
And I want the court to monitor the sale of those assets.
Yes.
Good. I want to stop there, Wayne. I think the crowd has enough to call us and to talk more. If you have a senior creditor going after you, you have a junior creditor going after you, if you have any creditor going after you, and you want to be in front, or even if you're in the back and you're second, come to us and we'll figure out how to work with you.
I'm going to amplify that if I may.
Of course.
Even if you don't have creditors coming after you, it is better to do this before.
You heard it from the original wartime general, Mr. Wayne Greenwald. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for Confronting the Impossible with us. Thank you, sir.
That's our job. May I say something? That's why I wear cufflinks that are flying pigs.
We make pigs fly.
That's what we do. We make pigs fly at our firm.
Thank you.